The defeat at Isandlwana struck Britain like a blade to the heart, its echo shattering the illusion of imperial invincibility. The Zulu triumph, swift and brutal, sent shockwaves through London's grand halls, igniting public outrage and humiliation. Determined to reclaim its dominance, the Crown unleashed a torrent of reinforcements to Natal, their disciplined ranks carving paths through the sun-scorched South African veldt. At the helm stood Lord Chelmsford, a commander haunted by disgrace, his resolve forged in the fire of ambition to erase the stain of defeat. Yet by mid-June, a new shadow loomed. Sir Garnet Wolseley, appointed to wrest control of the British forces. Her Majesty's government demanded Chelmsford bend to Wolseley's authority, aligning his plans to the new commander's will. Defiant and unyielding, Chelmsford cast aside these orders and spurned the peace offerings of Zulu King Cetshwayo. With the Zulu forces weakened, he saw a fleeting chance to strike a bold gambit, to restore his honor and secure victory before Wolseley could claim his command. Under Chelmsford's leadership, the British assembled a formidable force: 2 cavalry regiments, 5 batteries of artillery, and 12 infantry battalions, totaling 1,000 regular cavalry, 9,000 regular infantry, and an additional 7,000 men. Among their arsenal were 24 guns, including the revolutionary Gatling gun battery, the first of its kind deployed by the British Army. On the 3rd of June, the second invasion began its deliberate advance toward Ulundi, the heart of the Zulu kingdom. King Cetshwayo, still clinging to hopes of peace, restrained his warriors from attacking the British supply lines, which stretched vulnerably across the rugged terrain. As a result, the British marched unopposed, their scarlet uniforms a stark contrast against the golden grasslands of Zululand. Hoping to avert further bloodshed, Cetshwayo dispatched envoys from Ulundi, who reached Chelmsford on the 4th of June. Their message was clear. The Zulu king sought terms to end hostilities. Chelmsford responded with a written list of British demands, but his focus remained on the advance. By the 16th of June, the pace quickened as word reached the camp that Wolseley was en route to Natal to take command. Chelmsford, now racing against time, pushed his forces harder, determined to deliver a decisive blow before his authority could be usurped. On the 28th of June, Chelmsford's column was a mere 17 miles from Ulundi, having established a critical supply depot. Meanwhile, Wolseley, newly arrived in Cape Town, sent an urgent message ordering Chelmsford to halt any significant operations against the Zulus. Chelmsford, however, had no intention of complying. His silence was defiance itself, and when a second message arrived on the 30th of June, it was laced with Wolseley's frustration. Concentrate your force immediately and keep it concentrated. Undertake no serious operations with detached bodies of troops. Acknowledge receipt of this message at once and flash back your latest moves. I am astonished at not hearing from you. Wolseley, desperate to assert his authority, hastened north from Durban to join the 1st Division lagging along the coast, but his efforts to reach the front were futile. Chelmsford was already preparing to engage the enemy. On the same day, Cetshwayo's envoys reappeared, bearing offerings to meet some of Chelmsford's demands: a herd of oxen, a promise of firearms, and a gift of elephant tusks. Chelmsford, unmoved, rejected the peace offer, declaring the terms insufficient. He sent the envoys away, refusing the tusks, and granted the Zulus a single day's delay to surrender 1 regiment of their army. Cetshwayo, now staring down the advancing British, knew surrender was unthinkable. In a final gesture, he sent 100 white oxen from his personal herd, along with Prince Napoleon's sword, seized in a skirmish that had claimed the prince's life. Yet, the Zulu Umo regiment, guarding the approaches to the White Umfolozi River where the British were camped, blocked the Oxen's passage, deeming the gesture futile in the face of Chelmsford's unrelenting demands. The air was thick with tension as diplomacy crumbled. On the 3rd of July, with negotiations dead, Colonel Buller led a cavalry force across the White Umfolozi River to scout the terrain beyond. As they moved, a group of Zulus was spotted herding goats near the Amaka stream. British troopers moved to intercept, but Buller's instincts, honed by years of campaigning, sensed danger. He ordered his men to halt, remain mounted, and prepare to fire from the saddle. His caution was vindicated when 3,000 Zulu warriors surged from the tall grass, their assegais gleaming in the sunlight. 3 troopers fell to Zulu gunfire, but Buller's swift command to retreat saved the reconnaissance force from disaster. As they galloped back to the river, the Transvaal Rangers provided covering fire from the opposite bank, ensuring their escape. The skirmish confirmed Chelmsford's suspicions. The Zulus were ready to fight. That evening, Chelmsford issued his orders, his voice steady but resolute. The British, scarred by the slaughter at Isandlwana, would not risk an open battle in their traditional linear formation, the famed thin red line. Instead, Chelmsford opted for a large hollow square, a defensive formation designed to withstand the Zulus' ferocious charges. Mounted troops would guard the flanks and rear, while 2 Gatling guns and several cannons were positioned within the square, alongside headquarters staff, No. 5 Company of the Royal Engineers under Lieutenant Chard, the 2nd Natal Native Contingent, 2 squadrons of the 17th Lancers, and a troop of Natal Native Horse. Chelmsford's strategy was bold. No wagon lagers or trenches would be used. The square would stand exposed, a testament to British resolve, designed to prove that their disciplined firepower could defeat the Zulus in open combat. At dawn on the 4th of July, the British square stood ready on the Mahlabathini Plain, its ranks bristling with rifles and resolve. By 8 a.m., no significant Zulu forces had been sighted, so Chelmsford sent the frontier light horse to provoke the enemy. The mounted troops fired from their saddles near the stream, baiting the Zulus into action before retreating to the safety of the square. The Zulu army, led by Umana Zedu Kande and numbering some 15,000 warriors, emerged in a vast horseshoe formation, encircling the northeast and southern sides of the British position. Veterans and novices alike stood shoulder to shoulder, their confidence wavering under the weight of impending battle. The British were prepared. As the Zulu regiments charged, they met a wall of fire, massed rifle volleys, the relentless chatter of Gatling guns, and the thunder of artillery at point-blank range. Wave after wave of Zulu warriors pressed forward, their courage undeniable, but the British firepower was overwhelming. Zulu marksmen claimed a few casualties within the square, but the British lines held firm, their discipline unbroken. No warrior came within 30 yards of the square's perimeter. As the battle raged, the Zulu reserve force launched a desperate charge against the southwest corner. The British response was devastating. 9-pounder cannons tore through the advancing ranks, while infantry volleys cut down those who survived the artillery. For a fleeting moment, the speed of the Zulu charge seemed poised to break through, threatening hand-to-hand combat. But the British fire never faltered, and the reserves were repelled. After 30 minutes of unrelenting bombardment, the Zulu military power was shattered. The plain was littered with nearly 500 Zulu dead, with another 1,000 or more wounded. British losses were light, 10 killed and 87 wounded. Seizing the moment, Chelmsford ordered his cavalry to mount. The 17th Lancers, 1st King's Dragoon Guards, Colonial Cavalry, Native Horse, and 2nd Natal Native contingent charged across the plain, pursuing the fleeing Zulus. The chase was merciless, driven by vengeance for the horrors of Isandlwana. Soldiers cut down wounded Zulus, and by dusk, no living Zulu remained on the Mahlabathini Plain. Chelmsford then turned his wrath on Ulundi itself, ordering the royal krell to be set ablaze. The capital of Zululand burned for days, its flames a grim symbol of British triumph. On the 15th of July, Chelmsford relinquished command to Wolseley at the fort at St. Paul's, departing for Britain 2 days later. The victory at Ulundi had partially salvaged his reputation, earning him a Knight Grand Cross of Bath. Yet the Horse Guards' investigation would later excoriate him, ensuring he never again served in the field. Cetshwayo, the Zulu king, was captured on the 28th of August 1879 and exiled to Cape Colony. The British installed a regime in Zululand sympathetic to their interests and withdrew, leaving behind a fractured kingdom. The Battle of Ulundi was more than a clash of arms. It was a collision of empires, a testament to the ferocity of the Zulu and the unyielding resolve of the British. For the Zulus, it marked the end of their independence. For Chelmsford, it was a Pyrrhic victory, won at the cost of his career. The flames of Ulundi would linger in the memories of both nations, a reminder of the price of pride and the cost of conquest.